Hello everyone, and welcome to Odoo Experience. My name is Richard, I'm a business analyst and also part of the expertise team. Today, I hope that everyone is great and also as excited as I am. I will be introducing to you the new Odoo 16 dashboards. You know, you and I think that we share something in common. When we think about business, we think that it should be something that runs smoothly, right? Nobody likes a poorly maintained machine. Think of your own car. Nobody likes a car that makes weird noises, that could risk a crack, a flat tire, or random breakdown, right? You want to get where you need to be using a good engine. So for that, you certainly use or are planning to use software in order to handle your business. Whether it is Odoo or not yet Odoo, you're happy to grow your business. Your sales grow up, your numbers are growing, right? And the smiles on the customer's face are blooming. That's really great. Now from there, you need to move to make your next move, and it would be to move to what I call a helicopter view of your business. From there, you'll be able to monitor that everything still goes well, but how can you achieve that? Could you have a flashing light, as you would in your car, that tells you that something is wrong? Could you have something that tells you that you need to equalize the pressure in your tire, or that you need to adapt something in your business? So one way to do that would be for you to go through every single invoice on a certain month, for example, in order to try and find a trend or to follow what's happening. However, let's be honest, could you picture yourself doing that? In the end, if you do that, you'll just end up with a headache. What a waste of time, and how inefficient is this? Well, welcome to this talk featuring the new dashboards in V16. Now I'm setting the new dashboard because for those who knew, there was already a dashboard app in V15. But you can forget about it. You are completely revamped, improved, and also refined to your needs. For this, let's follow this agenda. First, I will go through what a KPI is and how they can be used as a lever for action in your company. Then I will go through different use cases for you to see and project yourself into your future cockpit. And finally, I will end up on a quick notes on the configuration of dashboards. So first, let's jump into what a KPI is. So KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators, and some examples of those would be, for example, the lead conversion rates. So this metric here is there to let you know how efficient your sales teams are at closing deals, right? So you are able to see how they can convert a prospect into an actual customer through the conversion rate. A second one would be the average purchase lead time, for example, and this one lets you know how long it takes to get a certain product or a certain material, right? The third one could be the monthly invoicing target. It's always a good idea to keep an eye on your invoicing targets, of course. And another one I would like to display here would be the overall equipment efficiency. So this one, if you are part of the manufacturing industry, you'll get what I mean. It is a metric just for you to be able to see whether an assembly line is quite productive or not, right? So if you have a lot of maintenance on an assembly line, then the OEE will decrease as the productive time also decrease. Right? So all those KPIs there, they act as the flashing lights that I was referring to earlier. If I want to take back the car analogy once again, in the end, you can choose how you drive, how fast you would like to drive. That's your own business. But KPIs are there to let you know where you stand in terms of round per minute, and also it lets you know when you should change gear, for example, right? If I go through the examples once again, if the lead conversion rate is quite low for a specific team, for example, it will let you know that you would need to boost them in order to meet the target for the end of the year, for example. The second one would say the average purchase lead time is quite high for a certain material, and then after some research, maybe you'll understand that it is because this specific material is only purchased to one specific vendor. And indeed, that vendor could be quite slow to deliver. So that could be a call for action for you to try and look for another vendor, right? And that's how it works. And all those thought processes, they are possible because we had a question in mind. Then we had a KPI around it. Then we were able to interrogate your data with this KPI and finally make some analysis and then understand why it happened and then what you should do in order to overcome this issue. So now I'm going to jump into the context for today. So you guys are going to be the business development coordinator for your company. Your company produces furniture for offices and homes. So we'll be selling chairs, desks, tables, whatnot. And your company is really lucky because they are using Odoo on a day-to-day basis. And they are even more lucky because they have you, which is ready to get the analysis started. So we are going to look at recruitment first. Let's say that your company is breaking through the market, and you are obliged, that's a pity, to increase your workforce in order to meet your targets, right? You have a lot of demand, so you need more people to handle all those requests. Now, it is true that you could just give a call to your HR officer and ask how things are going. But you and I, we already know how it ends up. Your very talkative HR officer will start talking about the new cat, how cute it is, and then maybe start talking about some numbers, be a bit imprecise, forget one or two things, and before you know it, you two are just starting to book a restaurant for next week together. Great. We've all been there, right? But let's be more serious. What you needed there is just a single number for you to get a grasp on what things are right now, and also to take the next decision. And this is what dashboards offer you. So now let's just jump into Odoo directly. So here I am on the Odoo interface. Welcome. From there, you'll be able to see all the different apps in my database. You'll see dashboards on the top right in pink. But for now, we are interested in recruitment in blue here. In recruitment, you'll see all the different open applications, and you'll see some numbers. You'll see the number of applications at the moment, the number of people to recruit, some applications, and then all the activities, for example. That's good, but that's not enough. You guys are data-driven people. You need figures, you need illustrations, you need something really visual, right? For this, let's have a look at dashboard. And here we are in the new dashboard interface. Let me introduce you. So here on the left, you have the different menus, right? Displaying all the existing dashboards in your database. You need to know that all those dashboards are already available in standard, which means that as soon as you have CRM, for example, you'd have the two dashboards here for leads and pipeline. If you guys are using accounting, you could have this sheet already configured for you with some standard formulas that could match your needs, right? Everything is already available for you. Now let's jump into the recruitment one. We were interested in this one. And we'll see on the top some cards. Those cards are just gathering some KPIs for you to see. So you have the number of new applications, the number of new hires, the hired ratio, and so on. You also have some neat graphs here that shows you the new applications and also the different stages in there. How many applications are still in the first interview, how many are still in the contract signed, and so on, for all job positions. And if you dig down a little bit, you'll see all the recent applications, the job positions, and the top recruiters, for example. Right? That's really great. Now, you need to understand that this interface is completely interactive, which means that you have filters on the top here, on the job position, on the recruiter, on the source, what else? Let's see what happens for the recruitment of trainees, right? I would like to see how many people are there for the last year. And I would see that there are two new applications which are still in the contract proposal stage. So they are still being negotiated with the recruiter. Oh, by the way, who are the recruiters? I can maybe check that if I go down a little bit. I'll see the top recruiters, the two recruiters which are linked to the contract proposal for those two trainees. So now I know who I can contact if I want to reach out to those people, right? That's quite great. Another thing I can maybe keep track of is the job position for the community manager. We have a lot of people now. We need also a lot of people to be there and make it lively for everyone. And here, you'll see that I have the new hires right there. And I see that I have someone which is called John, which signed with us. Congratulations. Maybe I would like to see what happened. I can directly access the application of John by clicking on this line. And here I go. I can just access this specific application. Oh, but I noticed that this person came from Facebook. That's quite interesting. It means that probably one of our employees shared the job vacancy on Facebook, and then the deal was closed. Quite interesting. Don't underestimate social media in general. So now I have a good overview about our recruitment. You need also to understand that it is also interactive for the filters, which means that I can either select the job position here in the filter, or even better, I can just click here on the job positions. So if I were to see what's happening on the experienced developer part, I can just click on it, and the filters is already added. I can of course combine it with another one. Let's just click on the applications from Mitchell admin, and boom, it got filtered again. If you want to remove those filters, you can either use the cross or just click back on where you clicked before. It will remove the filter. Right? Great. So that's it for recruitment. Now let's talk about sales. So lately we've been releasing a new line of products, which is called Crystal. And for this, I have two dashboards, the sales dashboard and the product dashboard. Let's start with the second one here. A bit simpler. You already see the bestseller on the top left. So which product is the bestseller for now, right? In the last 90 days. And also the best category. Under it, I can just check how many units were sold and so on. For there, if I scroll down, I can see the best-selling categories. And if I'm interested in this specific line of product, I can, of course, just click on it, as you understood, and I'll see all the metrics automatically updated with the latest values, which are from the new collection. In this collection, I will see that the bestseller is a superb table. I sold 2 units of those. If I put my mouse on this, you can see that the untaxed total was 900 because the unit price was 450. And those two graphs are quite similar, but a bit different as well. You have the best sellers by revenue and by units sold. It makes sense. If you guys are selling screws, it doesn't generate as much revenue as if you were selling tables, right? So it makes sense to just have the two metrics here, there for you to understand how things are going on this part. If you want to have a closer look at your sales, you can also use the second dashboard here. And you'll see all the quotations still being negotiated, all the orders that were confirmed, the revenue, the average order, and so on. So from here, I can see that I only have one quotation being discussed, and all the others are already being closed. When a quotation is confirmed, it becomes a sale orders, and it goes in the right side table right here. Right? So that's it for sales. You can also check for your best customers. You can just check for the sale orders for Gemini, for example, for a specific category as well. Everything is really, really great. You can also play with the date to see the last 3 months instead of the last month, and everything is automatically updated. You also need to understand that everything is possible because those dashboards are linked to an Odoo spreadsheet. So behind it, there is a spreadsheet with formulas that update everything based on the filters. Right? Another use case for you, let's check for purchases, right? In this tab, you'll see everything that you purchased in terms of the amount, the number of orders, and so on. Here, I want to showcase a new feature to you, and it is that all those data there are directly linked to Odoo data, which means that if you generate a new purchase order, all the numbers will also appear here in real time. I will create a new purchase order, but for this, I want to show you a little bit below that this dashboard also tracks the late receipts, which means that if I purchase something but I didn't receive it yet, compared to the expected date, it will appear here. Let's do this use case together. To do that, I will go to the main dashboard again, and then go to purchase. I will make a new purchase here by clicking on create. The vendor will be Azure Interior, for example, and I would like to purchase, let's say, a large cabinet. Why not? From there, I'll save, confirm the order, and then I will change the expected arrival in the past so that you can see the late receipts here. Let's say I expected it for the 17. That's a good number, 17. And then if I go to the receipts, right here, you'll see that the deadline was for the 70th. And let's say that I received it on the 25th, for example. It was scheduled to arrive at the 25th. Now, if I go back to the dashboard, to the purchase one once again, you'll see that this transfer has been labeled as late because it was ordered on the 30th, scheduled on the 25th, but expected for the 17th, right? So because of that, the receipt is there. You can have the direct overview right from your dashboard. And if you are interested to see what happens in this transfer, you can, again, just click on it and access it directly. From there, you'll see maybe the reason why, or maybe ask why. You could request your vendor to maybe give an answer by sending a message, sending a mail, a log note, or anything else. Maybe some follow-up from your purchase representative or something else, right? And you have so much more use case to cover. I will just keep it as quick as this one. Now to make a quick note on the configuration. So you need to understand that all those dashboards is, again, linked on a spreadsheet. Let's go to configuration and dashboards. I will go to sales and products, the one that we saw before, and this is a spreadsheet that is linked to your dashboard. Here you'll see that all those cards are in fact only graphs, right, which use the data from a specific cell, which is data B2. You'll go here and see where it comes from. Everything here is also linked to a data source. A data source in Odoo can come from 3 different types. The first one would be a graph. The graph would be, for example, a pie plot, a bar plot, or anything else. The second one is a pivot view, and the third one is a list view. I will show you what it looks like. If I go to CRM, let's say, this is a list view that you're able to insert in a spreadsheet. You also have the pivot view here that you can insert in the spreadsheet right here. And finally, the graphs also insertable in a spreadsheet. Once you are on a dashboard here, dashboard sales, edits, in the data menu, you're able to see all the data sources that you inserted in the past. Here you will see which configuration you had. For example, here I would be looking at all the different sale orders, right, based on the untaxed total. Why not? And then you can insert every pivot table you'd like to use in your spreadsheet. Now you could tell me, but wait, on this product dashboard, Richard, you can only filter on the last 3 months. But what if I want to pinpoint a specific month? That's also possible. You'll go to configuration, dashboard, sales, edits, and then on the filters on the top right here, you can just create a new filter. I will create a filter on the dates. It will be the order date, for example. I would like to check for a specific month, and then make sure you track the order dates for all your data sources. If I do this and save, going back to the dashboard, I have a new filter here based on the September sales, for example. I could also change it to August, and now I have a new filter. You see that everything is configurable, flexible, and also customizable to your needs and your company. Right. So what I want you to take away from this presentation is that dashboard is a very powerful tool now. You're able to link it to an Odoo spreadsheet, create all your own formulas and all the overview that you need to have. What you actually need are clear and relevant KPIs. Do your own research. Just pick KPIs that are relevant to your industry and also to how your company operates. Then you need some spreadsheet wrinkles of magic, of course. And finally, the right tool, which I just presented you. Thank you for your attention.
For quite some time by the partners and the customer. So the feedbacks on the YouTube stream were pretty positive. So I'm really happy about that. But let's look at the questions you guys put on the dashboard. Can Can you tell us how does our Odoo dashboard compare to ClickView? I suppose maybe.
And Tableau.
Yeah.
So I may not be very knowledgeable about ClickView, but I do know Tableau. It works kind of in the same way. The thing is, your spreadsheet is configured, right? And you have everything coming from data sources, as Tableau is actually doing, right? So the difference is now you have the data source that comes directly from your ERP. So everything does live with your data. So as soon as you're creating a new purchase order, a new contact, or a new opportunity, everything is already created and linked to your spreadsheet. So it works in the same way. You have the same structure in the sense that you have data source, you have some spreadsheet that makes some manipulations, and then the final dashboard is there for you to see the final results. The difference maybe is that you are able to have a very interactive environment using filters, navigating through all the different menus, so it makes it even better. It basically bridges the gap between everything. So your ERP system, some manipulation, KPIs, and also then the exploration and analysis of your data as well. So in that sense, it is more complete. It is definitely a huge asset for Odoo.
Interesting question. Can you mix data from different Odoo modules? For example, product data, specs, in invoice lines, etc.
Definitely. That's all the whole purpose of it. You are able to input many different data sources, also coming from different models, right? If you were to combine it, you can of course use VLOOKUPs or other formulas to be able to match the different data. Let's say that you have one insertion from the contacts and then from the sale orders as well. You're able to link those two models based on the VLOOKUP value, right? So you have the same name, the same vendor, the same contacts. Everything may be mixed as long as you know, of course, the spreadsheet configuration behind it.
Okay, interesting question as well here. Can we share these dashboard with customers or partners, either on their portal or with URL links, I suppose?
That's a good question as well, and that's a very important one. In V16, we don't want people to be able to access the actual dashboard and the addition behind it. However, you are able, of course, to download the fixed value of a dashboard, meaning that if you have the dashboard for the end of the month, you're able to download it as an Excel or as a PDF, right? So something that you may share. However, as long as you are not an internal user to the database, you won't be able to have access to the actual dashboard, right?
Okay. Can we have specific filters for the users to be able to help them see their sales, for example, the salespeople?
So for now, you don't have it, of course. Not of course, but that's the main point here. All the filters are the same for all people. And if you want the reporting for your own dashboard, then it means that you need to first configure it. This means that you need to create, say, a template, right? So a spreadsheet, and then you would be able to create many different dashboards from it, and then change the domain, for example. And the domain would be on a certain salesperson, for example, from the data source itself. So if you insert a data source on the whole data, you can change the domain in the dashboard to reflect the one from this specific user.
Okay. And if you are like me and you have really bad memory or you can't remember a formula, will there be documentation or somewhere we can find maybe all those formulas?
Right. The Odoo documentation also shows all the different formulas and also all the different arguments. If you are also in the database, in the spreadsheet itself, if you start writing a formula like VLOOKUP, it will also help you autocomplete all the different arguments that you are showing in the formula.
Okay. Another nice question. If I create a new product in my inventory application and that I have reports about my different product, will this product be automatically added to this dashboard?
Right, it will be. However, you need to think it in a clever way. So as I showed before with the salespeople, if you don't use like the top X products, for example, it will not directly reflect until you reinsert the pivot view, for example. As long as you insert the pivot view, it will be static at that snapshot of the time, if you'd like. Now, if the snapshot evolves and there's a new value in it, you would either need to reinsert it in your spreadsheet or think it through a bit better, meaning that when you're trying to explore data and see your KPIs, you are, in the end, only interested in the top X values, right? So like the top 10 best products, for example, the top 10 salespeople, etc. For this reason, you can now use the new dynamic pivots format inserting. I don't know, I used too many words there, but you got the idea. The problem is, if you have that, you always have the latest value and the best fit to your needs.
Okay, so I think if I can sum up this, what you really need to do is before you build your reports is really think, okay, what you want to do. You want data to be updated or not, and then if it's the case, well, build your dashboard correctly, I suppose.
Totally, you got it.
Okay, we have one last question. We had it previously. How does it work with multi-company rules in the dashboard?
Right, so I've got the confirmation from the PO. You are able to use the multi-company environment with dashboard. However, I haven't made a trial myself, so I think it is better than if you discuss with the product owner itself.
Yeah, it would make sense. It's available, but indeed, better try it before. Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys, for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Once again, if you have any questions, come and find us after the talks. Thank you.